Alright, what's up you guys? My name is Rasan and welcome to a next episode of R&B Aviation. Today we're going to be talking about new updates, things where I've been for the past couple of months, me getting my instrument rating, and a new surprise for you guys, for my awesome fans, and my new flying here to California. So stay tuned for the rest of the video. All right, so I know you guys have been wondering where I've been for the past couple of months. If you haven't been following me on Instagram, that's where I've been posting most of my updates. So make sure you follow me on Instagram at RBAviate. Also, I have a Facebook page, RBAviate, where I post updates. You can stay with the latest information. But basically, back in last year around September, I moved from Germany, and now I'm in the lovely state of California, in Northern California to be exact, is my new base in the military. Early on, your lifestyle can be all over the place because you're moving all the time, and you can go to different bases, especially if you start out overseas. But now I'm at a great base. And now I'm at the Travis Aero Club here at Travis Air Force Base. It's not located on the Air Force Base, kind of like it was in Germany. It was at another smaller another smaller airport at Rio Vista Airport, to be exact. And the Aero Club is awesome. It's great. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen some of my updates. The planes are very well maintained. They're much newer than the planes that I flew from, which I'm glad I started with the planes that I did in Germany, and I upgraded to the planes that I have now, which these planes are a little bit more up to date. They have Avidynes in them, and they have more GPS, and it's a little bit different. But I'm glad I started out with steam gauges, and now that I'm in glass cockpit, essentially planes, it's actually taken me a little while to get used to, but it helped, especially since I was getting my instrument rating done. So between moving in September and now, I ended up taking my written. I passed my written, I believe, with the 84, and then after that, I took my check ride in March. And unfortunately, the first time I took my check ride, I failed. Due to me not understanding the difference between minimum decision altitude and decision height, which we'll talk about that in my instrument rating, video later. But essentially, I did that. I am finally instrument rated, which is awesome, an awesome feeling. And now that I'm instrument rated, I can actually go back to doing fun flights. And one of the first things that I want to talk about is my new California tour. So in this new California tour, I'm going to be flying all over the place in California to pretty much all of the awesome general aviation spots that you can go to. It's going to start for me next week. You guys probably won't see the video for a couple weeks after I get some production stuff set up. But it's going to be awesome. I'm going to make sure I get the flight, what we do while we're at these airports, and the various activities there are at all of these airports, a review of some of the foods and some of the sites. And if you guys want to visit, I'll tell you guys how to actually visit, or what's the best way to fly into these places and things like that. And I want to share with you. I'll be taking my wife along on multiple trips, and I'll also be taking some of my friends along. We're starting, and our first leg is going to be going to Shelter Cove. It's an awesome airport on the coast of California. And then after that, we're going to be going to multiple places in Northern California, some of the nice places there. And then as we venture out farther, we'll go more to Southern California, which is also great for me because I can stretch out those instrument skills. I'll probably file IFR flight plans that entire way just to get some more skills up to date. And I guess in between those videos, you'll still get the everyday little flights that I got to do, some of the training I got to do on my way to get my commercial rating. But most of the next couple of flights I'm going to be doing is having fun. And then back to some of the things that I had to get used to at this Aero Club is just, doing the normal checkout. What also took me so long is I had to get a mountain checkout. A mountain checkout is required to be able to fly further than 50 nautical miles away from the airport, and unfortunately there's not that many airports within 50 nautical miles, so I had to do that, and it took a couple times. The first time we did it, it was too cloudy, and the second time we were able to go from Rio Vista to Truckee, in the in the mountains. It's just a little bit north of Lake Tahoe. I plan on actually going to the Lake Tahoe actual airport later on to show you guys that. But I didn't record that flight. My instructor really didn't want to, but I have some awesome pictures that you can also check out on Instagram. My first experience ever dealing with mountain flying, which was very different because in Germany you don't really get close to mountains that often. So flying over that high of a terrain got me understanding, things like density, altitude if I didn't really understand it, especially because it gets considerably hot here in Northern California. It's already about 90 degrees for the past 2 weeks. It's been about 95 degrees. So just remembering that is that when I'm doing these flights, especially in the summertime, when there's not wildfires, density altitude plays a huge important role. And then getting used to the winds has been crazy. In Germany, it was very rarely windy. Here, it's pretty much windy every other day. And so one of the jokes that my instructors here told me was that you got to get used to, landing with some type of wind. Otherwise, you'll basically never fly if you think winds, 10, 15 knots are too extreme. And of course, I'll always say that flying in winds is going to be up to the pilot's discretion. And how well you can handle it. At first, I wasn't able to handle these winds, but I'm getting acclimated very easily. I haven't been in high crosswind conditions yet, but most of the winds I go out, I have a maybe 5 to maybe 8 knot crosswind, nothing above 10, 15 yet, but it does get pretty gusty, which is an interesting thing to talk about when I talk about my instrument rating video, because the winds for my instrument rating check ride was very high, and most of you guys are going to be, why did I fly in this type of winds? But I think it actually helped me pass somewhat, which we'll talk about that as well. And it actually made me understand, like, my holds and flying in the approaches made more sense. I had to make sure I corrected for the wind appropriately, and the examiner was actually pretty happy, especially after failing the oral the first time. But again, one of those things that we'll talk about. So if you stay tuned for the next video, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning again. This was just a quick, short update where I've been, what's going to be going on. And I hope you guys love this California tour that I'm putting together. I'm putting together a lot of resources, a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of things to make sure I bring you the best content as possible. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you like and subscribe, and stay tuned for the rest of my videos.